Hey everybody, Sprocket here again. Just give me an update on the Skylark here. As you can see, I started fitting front fender here. Now, if I remember right, this was the one that had the most damage. So this is the one that was in most need of repairs. You can see kinda there where I've been working on it. I figured out I'm gonna have to cut that out again and redo it because my lines ain't straight, and I've learned a lot since I did that because that's a couple of years ago already. So I got it to where it's lining up pretty good. The issue I'm having is where I patched back there, it's a little tweaked. You know, it's got a little bit of a twist to it, you know, from here to here it's a little twisted. So I got that's why I said I'm going to cut those out and retweak them. Now up here, the inner structure, I'll show you on the other one if you can see it. Oop. Boy, I should have prepared better. I gotta move stuff, hang on. Alright, so the inner structure there is that L-shaped bracket. Now this one I cut completely loose, which I showed in a previous video, so I could reshape the corner of that one because this one was damaged a lot more up front here. It was all crushed in. But that structure on this one was tweaked ever so slightly, so I was working on that last night to try and get these bolt holes to line up. You got that one there, the one behind it, but the threaded receptacle on this back one, I think I had to use a pair of vice grips because it broke loose. I still have the square hole there, but I don't think I'm probably just going to end up using a bolt nut and washer on that just to make sure that that gets held in. Now there's also up under here, you can see that one. The other ones are going to be in shadow. There's one directly above it, and then you got this one right in here. Trying to get this thing to tweak around for that to fit, I had to take loose both of my bushings. Yep, point to them, there they are. Get a little bit lower here. Both of the bushings under here, which you can't see. I also figured out I screwed up when I made these holes because they actually did need to be further forward of the bottom holes. And they also did not need to be that big. Now, all of that I figured out through trial and error because I had no reference. There was nothing online that I could find, at least for this particular car. I found all kinds of ones for other vehicles, but this particular car I could not find how that was supposed to be stacked in there. And even my old videos, I had no reference because I was stupid and didn't make a reference on how they were in there before. So up here, it kind of looks like it's the same as it was, however, it's not. Now, the way I figured this out was placing the fan shroud in here because things weren't lining up on the back side of that fender. The gap was weird at the door, so that was my first clue that something wasn't right. But then the other thing was the fan shroud was not lining up well with the fan itself. It would have been really close to actually hitting it, but once I tighten these down, it'll pull it and center it up pretty good. So yeah, that's what I've been working on and figuring out what I need to tweak. I was making little marks like this one here. You can kind of see the circle around there. That spot weld had popped. That was one that I had to fix. Both of the I think there's supposed to be spot welds in here. All I did was clamp it together and then re-weld it after I got things situated where I think they need to be. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff as far as alignment on this car I'm having to figure out as I go because there's just not a lot of reference out there as to how it's supposed to sit in there. You can kind of see, maybe, get stuff, wires in the way. There's the bottom of the fender, the hole that you're seeing there in the shadow. I think, I'm not sure what that hole's for, because the structure is a little further back than that it actually mounts to. I don't know, maybe that's a drain hole, who knows. There's two holes there. But at any rate, it was, I guess, satisfying. Getting a fender back on this thing, because, I don't know, it actually kind of looks like a car again. The other thing I was doing was figuring out up here how many shims I need here, if I needed any, which I did need one. How many up here, which is another one. And then in behind the door here, where it goes, there's a eyelet, I guess you could say, that goes into the A-pillar here. I needed two in there to make this spacing pretty close. And that's where I started figuring out that the bottom side of this is not quite right. You can see it follows the line pretty good here, but then down here where I started patching, it dips way in, so the door hits it. That's where I gotta fix things. That's why I said I gotta cut that loose while it's more or less sitting in the car, so I can figure out where I actually need it to sit. And up here, when I started this, I don't know how it happened. It might have happened, well, more than likely it happened when I had it. But this whole corner right here was all mashed in, and this edge, this was all just, it was discombobulated, we'll put it that way. So, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on this week, because the video I just put out I actually recorded last week. So I am still working on things. I still have the patch to do up front here. Down on the bottom there's a hole right here. That, and try and do something different with this, because this wasn't great. Although I may just leave it. I don't know. I ain't real picky about looks. I'm picky about, is it solid and is it functional? That's what I care about. But yeah, moving along, still getting going, and still got this nastiness to take care of, but that's gonna wait until after I get this front end put back together. Once I get this front end put back together, then I get to tackle that, get the windshield back in it, and maybe start working on the quarter panels. I don't know. All I know is front end comes first, and then I'll worry about the rest, and I'll bring you along for the ride. So that's it. Like I said, just a short, quick one, just an update, let you know what's going on. So if you don't mind, like, subscribe, share. But until next time, thank you for watching, and have a good one.